Recording and I just welcome everybody. If you're live and in person or going to watch this later, that's fine too. My YouTube is just a sensation. I'm getting 6 to 7 views per week. It's unreal. Those are the people who aren't in class. That's a joke too. Again, glad everybody survived this storm of the century, Hurricane Eta, ETA. Got a new one coming down in South America again, or in Central America. But we are going to not look at that, but look at the reasoning through language arts, which is the section of the GED that we want you to take before you take social studies and science, because if you can pass one, you should be able to pass the others. We're going to look specifically, and if you want to take some time, get a notebook, get a piece of paper, pen. We're going to look through the 8 videos on how to actually really knock this one out of the park, because it's very, very specific. Okay, very, very specific on how to do that. Okay, so let me get this going. GED, RLA, extended response. And then what I'll do is I'll send you tomorrow morning the extended response sections. Not every single one of these videos. I'll just send you, because there's 8 of them. I'll send you the first one and you have the link to all of them.
Good grammar and spelling
Whoa,
are important.
Grammarly, settle down. But I'll send you not only the link to the first video, I'll send you the link to this video. I'll send you as many as I can find of the, like, they have a lot of free examples online of the reasoning through language arts, what they call the extended response. Okay, and the extended response is a little mini essay. Let me see if I can find this one document. Response. No. It's a little mini essay and is fairly easy to do. Let me find this one link real quick and I'll show you guys. The GED. The guidelines, yes. And I'll give you this document as well, the extended response guidelines, PDF. Okay, so, okay. I'm gonna share and I'm gonna admit Miss Zimmerman as well. I can have to do that. So let me get the spelling right. Marianne, how you doing?
Good, thank you.
So we're looking real quick and we're gonna look at 8 little videos. They're about 3 minutes a pop. Hopefully we can get through all of them, about specifically the extended response or the essay portion of the RLA, or reasoning through language arts. Sheila is in too, let me admit her. Sheila. Richardson, sweet. Hey Sheila, how's it going?
It's going.
All right, so just to get you up to date, we're gonna look at all 8 little prompt videos about the reasoning through language arts, the extended response, and specifically how to write that little essay, what that looks like, and let me share real quick right now. We'll share screen with this section. Okay, so I will give you this as a document. Can you all see this? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So extended response, this is the only writing that you have to do on the GED at all. And remember, science used to have a writing section, now it doesn't. So we say hallelujah to that, right? Because we're not super excited about writing, but with this, and if I give you all the prompts for you to see, just like anything else, practice doesn't make perfect, but practice makes better. So when you are practicing this over and over again, you'll start to get the pattern of it. We used to call this when I was in school, a 3.5 essay. So you had 3 big points, 5 paragraphs, we used to, when I taught it as well, call it a hamburger essay because it had your bun with your 3 ingredients and then another bun. Okay, so really you're looking at an introduction to, 2 to 3 specific example paragraphs and then a conclusion paragraph. Not very difficult. Okay, so let's look at the big points here. It is 45 minutes. You get 45 minutes to write this. We're going to talk about that with these 8 different little mini videos. Is that the 45 minutes, you got to use your time wisely. Okay, you don't want to rush through it, but you do want to understand the prompt that you're being asked. Okay, you're given some time to prepare or plan your response. It's supposed to be no longer than 500 words, 300 to 500 words. They won't grade it if it's under 300, and they won't grade it if it's over 500. You guys get that? Wow. So they will not, they'll just trash it. Okay. If you go over or under, they will throw that one away. 300 to 500 words is double spaced on a piece of paper, and it's about 1 page to 1.5 pages. So we all can say, thank God. Okay. Because it's not really that huge. They're not asking you to write. I think my last paper I wrote in college was a 35-page paper, which is ridiculous. And I say that to you as somebody who in high school didn't write one single paper and got really good at the end of high school into college just by practice. And I could write a paper if I want to now. I just choose not to because I'm not going to school. Now, we want to talk about argumentation. So basically what you're looking at is, I think of it as this. You're given 2 articles with 2 different arguments, right? One might be we want to recycle, and the other one might be we don't want to recycle. Okay. In so doing, you are asked to tell which one has the best argument and why. Okay. People lose sight, and I'll say this from the beginning, people lose sight and they start writing about their own opinion. So whether you're pro, just to give the example, you're pro recycling or you're anti-recycling, people start to write about that. Well, I think we should recycle because it will save the earth, or I think we shouldn't recycle because it's a waste of our time. When you start talking about your own opinions, they're nice, but we don't really care about them here, or whoever is going to read these doesn't care about them. Okay. So you're looking at 2 different authors, 2 different positions, which one is or has the best argumentation, or which one has the best argument. And you're going to back that up with their information. So if you see a lot of statistics, a lot of numbers, you might want to choose that one because they back their opinions up with things like that. And you want to highlight one in a positive light and highlight the other one in a negative light. So you might say, this one uses a lot of opinion-based argumentation, and we don't like that. Okay. So you're supposed to also determine which position presents the better supported evidence. Okay, by using supporting evidence from each passage, you're explaining why the position you chose is the better supported one. You're remembering, or you're understanding that the better supported position is not necessarily the position you agree with. If, for instance, most of us would be okay with recycling, but if the anti-recycling one had better argumentation, had better data, had better understanding, you need to use that one as that one has the better argumentation or a better argument. You're defending your argument of the argument with multiple pieces of evidence. That's how you do that. That's that like, if you think of it like a hamburger, that's the meat patty and the tomato and the lettuce or something like that. Okay. You want to build those points and back them up. Your main points should be logical. Obviously, that's kind of redundant. You want them to be smart and logical. Organizing your response carefully. Okay. You want to consider the audience, the message, and the purpose. Okay. Use transitional words like first, second, then, primarily, things like that. That helps you organize your paragraph. If you want to write your in conclusion or in closing, and that would be your conclusion or your summary. Choosing your words carefully. Okay. People freak out about spelling. I know I did when I would write these as well. If you can basically understand what the word would be, they're not going to dog you so much on the spelling. Okay. We want you to use correct grammar and the usage and punctuation though. Okay. Rereading and revising. That's huge. If you don't do that, you're making me cry. okay? So what I want to do now is this is where you can take some notes. Do not, I mean, I will actually give you a copy of this. I'm gonna, I'll save it later, I guess. Actually, no, let me save it to my computer now. All right.
Which number are you looking at? Because I have that book.
You have what? Which number what?
I have that book. What page number are you looking at?
This is
What page
not,
number?
this is not in a book. It's, this is off of the GED website. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
it's a PDF that is basically
Oh, okay.
like a little blurb about what you should do on that. But I want to look at,
Okay.
where is it? That's not what I want to look at. I want to look at these short, they're pretty short, okay? Some of them 3 to 5 minutes, okay? We'll get through as many as we can, okay? Got an overview, and then it's gonna go from the beginning to the end of how to write a full extended response, and it uses the same prompt and the same understanding. So some of it is gonna be a little repetitious, but it's on purpose, okay? So hopefully this will work kindly for us.
We're putting together crew.
I'm in.
Well, that looks like fun.
It's gonna be lit.
It's gonna be absolutely lit. There you go, cool.
Hey GED test takers.
Hey,
I'm
hey.
Alice. I passed the GED Reasoning through Language Arts test, and I'd like to help you pass
She
too.
wants to help
I
us.
studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In this video, I'll share some tips from writing for the GED test that will help you maximize your score on the extended response. I'll show you what you will see on the extended response
So you'll see, this is kind of prepping us for the different sections that we'll look at.
of the test, how to move around a computer screen, and what tools you can use during the test. What is the extended response? It's the writing portion of the GED Reasoning
mini
through
essay.
Language Arts test, or RLA test. Here's what the extended response looks like.
Super
This
fun.
is the prompt. The prompt tells you the topic you will be asked to write about. It explains what you need to do in your written response. And on the bottom right, this is where you type your response. Don't worry about running out of.
As you can see, this
As
is
you type your response,
about supporting mandatory recycling or not. So I've looked at these a couple of times. I use that as my example already.
the text will scroll to make room for more. On the left, you'll see 2 text passages. Click the tabs at the top to read every page. Each passage gives an author's position on a similar topic.
You saw how short they were, right? You can see that they're very, very short little passages. It's almost like one is like a letter to the city and the other one's kind of like a rebuttal to the letter to the city. So they're very, very short, okay? So don't freak out. The passages, you don't have to read like 6 pages and then analyze it. It's very, very short.
On the left, you'll see 2 text passages. Click the tabs at the top to read every page. Each passage gives an author's position on a similar topic. Make sure to read both passages. While you type, you can use the cut, copy, and paste buttons to move sentences around within your response. You can also use the undo and redo buttons. You cannot use these buttons to copy text from the reading passages.
Did you catch that? Some people have been doing that and they're coming up with the most ridiculously lengthy responses or essays because they were copy and pasting from the prompts. You can't copy and paste from the prompts. You can only copy and paste within your own response, okay?
Have some access to some tools both on screen and at your testing station while you work on your response. The first tool is an on-screen highlighter. You can use the highlighter to mark important information in the reading passage.
Highlight it.
When you take the GED test, you will be given 3 note boards and a dry erase pen. You can use these to write notes during the test. Remember that you won't be able to take a pen or a pencil and scratch paper into the testing center. You will need to use the note boards to make any notes during the test.
Mm-hmm.
When you arrive at the testing center, you will receive a copy of the extended response answer guidelines. You can also click on this button at the top right of the screen to refer to the guidelines during the test. The guidelines gives you some tips for maximizing your score on the extended response. For example,
we looked at that.
You should write 4 to 7 paragraphs and about 300 to 500 words.
It's going over the
The
big
other
stuff.
videos in this series will cover many of the points included in the guidelines. When the extended response begins, a clock will appear on the screen showing that you have 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
The clock will count down as you work. If the clock is distracting, you can hide it and check it occasionally to make sure you're on track. The clock will reappear when there are 3 minutes left, so you'll know that time is running out.
Mm-hmm.
To use your time wisely, plan to spend the first 15 minutes reading and analyzing the passages, then spend the next 25 minutes writing your response. Save about 5 minutes at the end to check and revise your writing.
Yeah, so really that's how, for reading and analyzing, that's how quick it is. You're reading one paragraph, one article or one passage, then the next, and you're analyzing, you're starting to plan your writing into the 15 and then 25 minutes. You want to plan that and actually write it. And then you're going to give yourself 5 minutes to reread and recheck, which is a skill that is something a lot of students that I've taught in the past do not use. They'll write their essay and they're like, oh my God, I'm done with this essay. It's awesome. Then they'll submit it and they didn't reread it. And there were sentences that didn't make sense. They misspelled in it, things that were fairly easy to spell. So please, please, please don't disregard that last 5 minutes.
I'll talk about these 3 steps in the upcoming videos.
We know.
Here's a tip to improve your score. Read the guidelines before test day and refer to them while you practice and prepare for the test. You will save time if you're already familiar with the guidelines before you take the test, but you can also refer to them on test day by clicking the button.
Got to know your rules.
You can read or print a copy of the guidelines by clicking the link in the description.
I will give that to you on an email tomorrow. How's that sound, my friends? Fun? Yes. All right, let's look at number 2.
Hey, GED test takers.
Hey.
I'm Alice. I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test, and I'd like to help you pass too. I studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In this video, I'll share some tips from writing for the GED test that will help you maximize your score on the extended response. Here is an example of what the prompt may look like. In these passages, 2 authors give different positions on recycling. The passages present opposing positions. Both authors want to convince readers that their position is correct. The directions say you should analyze both positions. What does that mean? Analyze means to study closely and carefully.
This is real stop. This obviously, so you can take notes if you are taking notes. You are studying something closely, analyzing, thinking about it, and things like that.
In other words, read the passages closely and pay attention to the details. Look for the reasons and evidence that authors use to convince you their positions are correct. Then the prompt asks you to determine which position is best supported. So how do you decide? As you read, first identify each author's position. Then look for reasons and evidence authors use to support their positions. Use different colors to highlight strong and weak evidence in the passages. Analyze the evidence
Color
to determine
code it.
if it is strong or weak. Here, I use green for strong evidence and yellow for weak evidence. Strong evidence includes specific examples, expert opinions, facts or statistics, results from polls or surveys, results from experiments or studies.
Real quick, that's just, again, if you want to write this stuff down or check it out another time. Strong evidence, I think of the numbers, data, that's all numbers. Specific understanding, expert advice, facts, statistics, that's numbers, surveys, all the, when I see numbers, it puts a red flag. So that very first one, and we'll look real quick, that very first passage where she starts highlighting, I think I went too
Evidence
far.
authors use to support their position. Use different colors to highlight if it is strong or weak.
There we go.
Here, I use green for strong evidence.
You got numbers saying that Seattle's mandatory recycling program has been around since 2006, and statistics show it prevents 400,000 tons of waste. And then this one, 15 years, okay? And also estimates that Seattle, from Seattle show that the city has saved 200 million in landfill dumping fees.
Yellow for weak evidence.
Weak evidence, okay.
Strong evidence includes specific examples, expert opinions, facts or statistics, results from polls or surveys, results from experiments or studies. Look for precise details such as names of experts, specific studies or research results, and recent dates.
Yes.
Weak evidence may include unclear references,
Mhm.
unnamed experts, outdated studies, irrelevant details, flawed reasoning.
I think of it, opinions are huge. I think that should be the first bullet point. When you're looking at weak evidence, just like if you're looking at a debate or somebody having an argument, well, that's the way I feel it should be. That's kind of stupid. Okay. You have to back things up with data, facts, expert opinions, not weak opinions. Okay. I think that it's bad because of this.
Opinions with no facts to back them up are also signs of weak evidence. Which author uses strong evidence? Which uses weak evidence? Use your erasable noteboards to make notes while you analyze.
So you're going to be given this. I will give you a copy of what that looks like. Okay. And they're going to break that down, I think, on the next one.
To make a chart to help sort the evidence. Here's an example. Don't waste time writing complete sentences. Just write a few words to remind you of the evidence used in the argument and your thoughts about it. Here is one way you can set up your noteboard to organize your ideas. If you'd like to use this graphic organizer,
so I'll give you guys that graphic
practice
organizer.
For the test, click on the link in the description below this video.
All right, we will.
Here's a tip to improve your score. To identify an author's position or claim, ask yourself, what does the writer want me to do or believe about this topic? The reasons and evidence an author lists will answer the question, why should I believe the author's claim? In the next video,
Video 3. See, we're buzzing through
Writing's not that easy, but Grammarly can help.
Grammarly.
This sentence is grammatically correct.
Hey GED test takers.
What's up, girl?
I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test, and I'd like to help you pass too. I studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In this video, I'll share some tips from writing for the GED test that will help you maximize your score on the extended response. In video 2, I talked about how to analyze the passages and determine which is stronger. Each passage is an argument, and your response will also be an argument. But what is an argument? Every argument starts with a claim, a statement saying that something is true. The claim states your position. When you support your claim with reasons and evidence to prove that it is true, you build an argument. But just adding reasons and evidence does not mean you have a convincing argument. As you'll see, you need strong evidence to build a strong argument. Look at the 2 passages. The prompt asks you to choose the position that is best supported. In video 2, I explained how to analyze the evidence and determine which argument is stronger. In the example passages, Mayor Lynn says, the city of Hope Valley needs to be greener. She is in favor of recycling. Mr. Grimley says, this whole mandatory recycling idea is just plain crazy.
It's crazy.
He is opposed to mandatory recycling. In your response, you will write about how both authors make their arguments and why one argument is stronger than the other. In the last video, we talked about strong and weak evidence. In addition to using the evidence to determine the stronger position, you will need to discuss this evidence when you write your response. Remember, strong evidence is specific and detailed, cites experts or authorities, quotes statistics or facts, cites recent surveys or study results. Let's look at some specific examples of strong evidence. Seattle's mandatory recycling program has been around since 2006, and statistics show it prevents 400,000 tons of waste from going into landfills each year.
And that's a good thing.
Here, authors cite specific data from an ongoing program. We estimate that Hope Valley can save $10 million in landfill fees while earning $5 million over the next 5 years selling its recyclables. The author uses data from the Seattle program to estimate the cost savings and earnings for Hope Valley. And remember that weak evidence may be vague or unclear, based on opinion instead of facts, from an unreliable source, outdated. Here are some specific examples of weak evidence. Mandatory recycling is costly. This author writes about high cost but doesn't cite any supporting data. Mandatory recycling is complicated waste of time. This is an author's opinion based on his own experience. He doesn't give any facts. In addition to facts and details, authors use reasoning to show a logical connection between their claim and the evidence. Reasoning explains why the evidence validates the claim. For example, mandatory recycling will save our city money because Seattle's program has saved $200 million in landfill dumping fees over the past 15 years. But Watch out for faulty reasoning. Faulty reasoning is not logical. It's a sign of a weak argument. Watch out for personal attacks like name calling or falsely claiming that one action will lead to a series of bad events. That's a slippery slope. Or jumping on the bandwagon where everybody knows or everyone believes. What's next? Mandatory teeth flossing enforced by the tooth fairy? This is a ridiculous claim with no logical evidence to back it up. Make notes of strong and weak evidence. You will use them when you write your response. Now you know which argument is stronger and you have gathered the evidence to support your argument. In the next video, I'll show you how to plan and write your response. Remember,
Let's do it.
you should only spend about 15 minutes reading and analyzing the text and taking notes, so you'll have plenty of time to write your response. Here's a
You know a lot about a lot. You know spin cover.
All right.
Hey GED test takers, I'm Alice. I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test, and I'd like to help you pass too. I studied with the Writing for the GED
Halfway there,
test
my
series
friends.
from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In this video, I'll share some tips from writing for the GED test that will help you maximize your score on the extended response. In videos 2 and 3, you learned how to analyze the passages, choose the best supported argument, and gather evidence. Now it's your turn to write an argument. What do you need to include in your response? How do you begin? Planning your response is an important step. It will only take a few minutes and it'll help you get your best score. Spend about 25 minutes planning and writing your response. Before you can plan your response, you should know what a good extended response looks like. Every well-written essay has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion.
That's huge. Get that visual in your mind. So you got, this is why we call it a 3x5. Okay. You have 3 examples in 5 paragraphs of a specific argument that you have, or you can think of it as a sandwich, or like I said, a hamburger. You get the visual of a hamburger, you have the bun on top, 3 ingredients, and then a bun on the bottom. Either way you want to think of it, that's fine, but you have to have an intro. You have to tell them what your argument is, then facts about that argument and reasoning, and then conclude and wrap that thing up.
Your response will be an argument or an argumentative essay. Remember that you are not writing your opinion on the topic. You are writing an analysis of 2 authors' positions and explaining which argument is stronger.
Which one's stronger?
In the first paragraph, introduce the topic you are writing about and state your claim. Your claim or thesis statement tells your position. The body of the essay presents reasoning and evidence to support your claim. This is the longest part of the response and should be at least 2 paragraphs. The concluding paragraph sums up your main points and restates your claim. First, let's focus on the introduction. The first paragraph of your response is the introduction. Here, you will introduce the topic you'll be writing about, give a summary of the 2 positions, and then clearly state your claim. What's that? A claim or a thesis is a statement that can be proven. It is not an opinion. Your claim statements tells the reader what you are writing about. Since the extended response prompt says to determine which argument is best supported, your claim must clearly state which of the 2 positions is stronger. Be sure to state your claim as if it is a fact, and the rest of your essay will prove that it is true. For example, Mayor Lynn makes a stronger argument because she uses logic and supports her point with statistics. This is a claim statement. It's a statement that you can prove with evidence and reasoning from the text. But you can improve your introductory paragraph by providing some background and giving an overview of your reasoning. For example, in her speech, Mayor Lynn argues that the city of Hope Valley should adopt mandatory recycling because it saves landfill space, saves money, and is easy to do. Mr. Grimley, however, says that mandatory recycling is a bad idea because it is an expensive waste of his time. His argument sounds like an emotional rant. Lynn's speech is the stronger of the 2 positions because she uses logical arguments based on statistics and a model from a successful recycling program.
Real quick, you got to use these transitional words like however.
Your claim is very
okay.
And you have given the reader an idea of what reasons to expect in the body of your essay. Here's a tip to improve your score.
Let's hear it.
Make sure that your response is focused on the passages and not your opinion. Remember, the prompt asks you which argument is best supported, not which argument you agree with.
Yeah, frankly,
in the next video,
really
I'll help
care
you
about
write the
your
body
opinion.
and conclusion paragraphs and cite supporting evidence.
All right, number 5. We might have to cut it. Number 6. Very cool.
Hey GED test takers, I'm Alice. I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test, and I'd like to help you pass too. I studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In the
Sweet.
last video, we talked about planning your extended response and writing the first paragraph. Now that you've written your claim statement, it's time to back it up with evidence. In the body of your essay, you will use the evidence you gathered from both passages to support your claim. Choose 2 or 3 ideas and fully explain them. Your goal is to convince the reader that your claim is correct. Use the notes you took when you analyze the 2 arguments. You can also refer to evidence you highlighted in the text passages. You can use one of the note boards to sketch out an outline for your argument. List the reasons you will discuss in your body paragraphs. Did you think about what ideas to write about first? Your essay will be scored on your ability to create a progression of ideas. What does that mean? If you thoughtfully arrange your reasons and evidence in an order that flows from one idea to the next, you will build a strong argument and earn a higher score. How do you do that? One way is to start with the strongest reason and then go to the next strongest.
Let's look at that real quick. So your topic sentence, that's your main point, thesis, and then your details that support that topic sentence, those are your paragraphs. And then there's even more detailed evidence that support those topic sentences, okay? Huge.
How do you do that? One way is to start with the strongest reason and then go to the next strongest and end with the weakest. Another way is to start with the weakest reason and build in strength so you end with the strongest. It's not important which order you follow. What matters is that the order flows logically and includes strong support for your claim. You should write at least 1 paragraph about each of the 2 or 3 reasons or details you have chosen to back up your claim. Begin each supporting paragraph with a topic sentence that describes how the evidence supports your claim. Then introduce and state the evidence. The writer says that Mayor Lynn supports her argument with statistics. Then she describes that the statistics come from a program in Seattle. Finally, she tells what the statistics show. In the example above, the writer presents her evidence by describing what the statistics prove. This is a good way to connect the evidence, statistics, to the claim. Mayor Lynn's speech is stronger because she proves her point using logic and statistics. Unless you tie the evidence to your claim or explain your reasoning, the details won't prove anything. Do not just retype sentences from the passage. Those sentences by themselves won't help you meet the requirements of the extended response. Each paragraph in the body of your response should explain why a piece of evidence supports your claim or disputes the opposing claim. To explain your evidence, you can describe or restate it. This shows that you understand exactly what it means and how it relates to your claim. Cite it, mention the details or facts of a specific point and relate them to your claim. Quote it, use quotation marks to insert the exact words an author uses and show how the quote supports your claim. If you quote a line from a passage, use quotation marks. Here are some examples to show you how to use direct quotes in your response. If you are quoting just a word or a short phrase, use quotation marks around each. If you need to quote a whole thought or a part of a sentence from one of the passages, explain your reasoning. Use quotation marks around the author's words to separate them from your own. Remember to keep quotes brief and explain how they support your point. If you don't explain your reasoning using your own words, there is no proof that you understand the passages. Your response should include evidence from both passages. Explain why the strong evidence support one argument. Explain why faulty evidence weakens the other argument. Remember that a fully supported argument includes evidence for and against it. You need to support your argument with good evidence, and you need to refute or disprove bad evidence. When you have finished writing your body paragraph, it's time to write the last paragraph. The conclusion is your chance to wrap up your argument by repeating your claim and reasons. This is your last chance to make your case. Here is an example of how you might write your conclusion. In conclusion, Mayor Lynn's argument is much stronger than Mr. Grimley's. Mayor Lynn outlines a clear plan for recycling and uses facts and cites evidence from recent research, while Mr. Grimley mainly cites his own opinions with no research to back up his points of view. Planning and writing your response should take about 25 minutes. Here's a tip to maximize your score. In order to score points on the extended response, you must generate your own sentences and create a logical argument to prove your claim. Just copying lines from the two passages or quoting the
In collaboration with USF Health, Tampa General Medical Group, and private practice physicians.
Hey GED test takers, I'm Alice. I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test, and I'd like to help you pass too. I studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In the last video, we talked about writing the supporting paragraphs and the conclusion to your response. How do you know when your response is finished? What should an extended response look like? How do you know your response is fully supported? How much should you write? I'll use the answer guidelines provided by the GED testing service to help answer these questions. What should an extended response look like? Your response is your answer to the extended response prompt. The prompt asks you to analyze both positions to determine which one is best supported and use relevant and specific evidence from the articles to support your response. To completely answer the prompt, your response should be a fully supported argument. It should contain 4 to 7 paragraphs and be about 300 to 500 words. What does that mean? In general, your paragraphs should each contain 3 to 7 sentences or about 75 to 80 words. If you write an introductory paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, and a concluding paragraph, your essay should easily add up to about 300 to 500 words. A very short response may not demonstrate enough of your writing skills to earn any points. How do you know your response is fully supported? The best way is to organize and plan your essay following this structure. Introduction, 1 paragraph. Body, 2 to 5 paragraphs. And conclusion, 1 paragraph. Each paragraph needs its own topic sentence or main idea. Then use the rest of the paragraph to fully explain this idea. Connect your ideas with logical transitions in order to build a convincing argument. Express your ideas clearly so that the reader will understand your argument and your reasoning. Reread each paragraph to make sure you have made your point. Relevant and specific evidence includes details that directly relate to the point you are making. Be sure to use the evidence in a way that strengthens your argument. As you write, keep this in mind. Analyzing is not the same as summarizing or restating the author's arguments. You need to use your own words to explain how the authors try to prove that their ideas are correct. You have a total of 45 minutes to write your extended response. But if you spend 15 minutes reading and analyzing the passages and save 5 minutes at the end to proofread and revise, that leaves you about 25 minutes to plan and write. This is not a lot of time, so it will help if you have a good plan. Move quickly and follow your plan. Because you have a limited amount of time to write, your essay is being scored as if it is a draft. It is not expected to be perfect, but it is important to clearly state your claim and write a draft that is well organized, logical, and focused. Here's a tip to improve your score. Use transition words and phrases to connect ideas and to link one idea to the next. Some common transitions include, for example, such as because, so, therefore, most important, first, second, mainly, and also, in addition, but still, on the other hand, in contrast, rather. For more practice writing an extended response,
Put great writing to work with Grammarly, your personal writing assistant.
Hey GED test takers, I'm Alice. I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test, and I'd like to help you pass too. I studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In the last video, we talked about how much you need to write and how to ensure that your response is complete. Now we'll talk about the last thing you do. Check and revise your work.
Reread, baby.
45 minutes total for everything you will need to do to complete the extended response. That's not a lot of time, so you'll need to go in with a plan. We suggest you break up your time like this. 15 minutes, read and analyze passages. 25 minutes, plan and write. 5 minutes, check and revise. It's wise to save a few minutes at the end to proofread or check your writing. You may be able to get a higher score if you rewrite a confusing sentence or correct some grammar errors. What should you look for? First, quickly reread your essay to make sure it makes sense. When you're taking the test, it's easy to forget a word or type the word wrong. Make sure you clearly state your claim and provide strong reasons. Next, check your writing. Make sure your essay includes an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Is your writing well organized? Did you use transitional words and phrases to make your ideas clear and to link your reasons and explanations? Last, check grammar, mechanics, usage, and punctuation. Did you use a variety of sentence types? Did you use correct punctuation? It's easy to confuse the spelling of words that sound alike. Check to make sure you use the correct spellings of homophones or frequently confused words. Here are a few commonly misspelled words to watch out for. Don't repeat yourself. If you feel the need to say the same thing again, you have probably not fully supported the point. Use reasoning and evidence to make your point stronger. One more thing. Remember who your audience is. You are not texting a friend. You are writing an essay on an important exam. Use formal writing.
Yeah.
Follow standard English rules. That means don't use slang terms or abbreviations. Don't use words or examples that are too casual or informal. Choose your words carefully. Here's a tip to improve your score. Don't waste time worrying too much about your spelling. As long as the reader can understand what you're saying, it's fine. You won't lose points for misspelling a word.
We'll do the last one. 3 minutes. We have time.
It is the middle of the night. So what I need to hear right now is what the hell happened.
Uh-oh.
Hey GED test takers, I'm Alice. I passed the GED reasoning through language arts test.
Tell me how it scored, Alice.
I studied with the Writing for the GED Test series from New Readers Press. Practicing with these books boosted my confidence and helped me to write a great extended response. In the last 7 videos, we've covered these topics: overview of the extended response, analyze both positions to determine which is the best supported, write a well-supported argument, make a plan and write an introduction, write the body and conclusion, write a fully supported response, and check and revise your response. Now let's talk about how your response will be scored. The extended response is scored according to a guide called a rubric. The rubric lists specific items that will be scored. The rubric grades each extended response on 3 traits. Number 1, creation of arguments and use of evidence. Number 2, development of ideas and organizational structure. Number 3, clarity and command of the standard English conventions. In video 7, check and revise your response. We talked about the important things to include and to look for in your response. If you follow these checklists, you will get a good score. To score well on trait 1, be sure to respond directly to the prompt and clearly state your claim. Use specific details, facts, and evidence from the text to support your argument. To score well on trait 2, organize your essay with a clear introduction, body, and conclusion. Use a logical progression of ideas and use transitions to connect details and main points to link ideas. To score well on trait 3, check and revise your writing to make sure your grammar, punctuation, and sentences are correct. Your 45 minutes will go quickly, so focus on these important points to get to the best score. What's important? Make a claim, state which position is better supported, write clear sentences, and arrange paragraphs in logical order. What's not? Spelling. As long as someone can read what you've written and still make sense of it, if your spelling is so far off that a reader wouldn't be able to understand what words you were trying to use, then you'll need to think about improving your spelling too. Here's a tip to improve your score. Use time practice session to become more comfortable writing arguments that make and support a claim. With practice, you will be able to analyze, plan, and write more quickly. Writing for the GED Test Book 4 contains 15 practice.
All right, so I'm going to stop sharing. Hopefully you guys didn't fall asleep to that. But what I'll do is I'll send you all the attachments to that. And you guys can look at that either another time or whatever the case may be. But you have 2 minutes before you get into math. So I will let you switch over to math right now, unless you guys have questions, comments for me, okay?
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does one read faster and comprehend better?
Read faster?
Yes.
I don't think that the reading is going to be your issue because it's literally 2 very short articles in this situation. But if you want to become a more fluent reader, going on any articles that you read, have it read to you and follow along quicker. That's going to be helpful for sure. But I don't think your reading fluency is going to be that big of a detriment here on the extended response.
Yeah, it was mainly on the main part of the test.
Yeah, so
'Cause
if you're having
the-
trouble with that, definitely go to the News ELA and start reading those, increasing your level to the max. Okay?
Okay.
All right. All right, my friend,
Question
I'm
of-
gonna call it.
I have a question, Mr. Turner.
Yeah.
Are there any, like, where can we practice these writing skills?
So what I'm gonna do is I have prompts, practice prompts, and I will forward them as attachments as well. Okay?
Okay,
All righty?
All right.
And then you can sit with a timer, 45 minutes, and write it out if you want. Okay?
okay, thank you.
All righty. I'll see you guys.
Have a good night.
Adios.
Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.